In 2017, Studio MDHR released Cuphead, one of the best games I've ever played. It's a 2D animated run-and-gun action game where you defeat around 20 bosses so that you can gain soul contracts and also beat the devil. The unique thing and what I was drawn to when I first saw the game was the look or animation of it. It's based on rubber hose animations from the 1930s, with every frame being hand-drawn and then scanned onto a computer to color it and then code it, which is just next level. Nice job, team. Since 2017, Studio MDHR also released a DLC called The Delicious Last Course. Get it? And it's also pretty good, adding more weapons and charms to the game. As for the gameplay, it's pretty fun, but it gets pretty challenging at times because there's a lot going on screen and you have to use the right amount of skill to dodge attacks. I've heard people compare this game to Dark Souls for some reason. You can play the game as Mugman or Miss Chalice if you have the DLC, and you can also play the game in 2-player mode with a friend as well. Cuphead is one of my top 5 games out there, and I give it a 10 out of 10 just because I personally love it. It's an amazing game with an oldish art style, a really good musical score, and engaging gameplay that I can never get bored of. Seriously, go check it out if you haven't. And there's also a Netflix show about it too, which is pretty neat. Now with anything that's popular, there's always going to be copies of it, and Cuphead is no different. The first clone of Cuphead I heard about is Enchanted Portals. This is a game marketed as being Cuphead inspired, being the most popular clone of Cuphead, with people still referencing it to this day. As for the plots, it's about 2 Harry Potter wizards accidentally stumbling upon a book. They cast spells on it, and then they get sucked into another world and fight bosses. Now I have never played the game, but looking at reviews of it on YouTube, the art is pretty nice, but the game just doesn't feel as polished and as smooth as Cuphead is. 3 out of 10. Rubber Hose Rampage is another game that comes to mind. I found this game because of Pogo Bro, and boy oh boy is it bad. The game is in black and white, the animation isn't smooth, and most of it is traced on really old cartoons anyways. Some bosses are impossible to beat, and it just screams poor quality. The game did get updated by adding more bosses and color into the game, but it's still a piece of garbage. 1 out of 10.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for. Da 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 da. Preparing
Toyland Tussle. This is probably the best Cuphead clone ever, and hence why I wanted to make this video. I found this because of Shakonda Cartoons, a channel I'm subscribed to, and honestly, it looks pretty good. This game was released to Steam, because every video game ever is on Steam, in August 2025, which is last month. The developer is RBW Games, and the price of it is $3. Needless to say, I bought the game to see how it was, and nah, I'm just kidding. I got it from a quacked site because I don't have any money right now. But anyways, when you first start the game, it opens up in windowed view. So now I have to push P to full screen it, which is pretty annoying, but it's a minor inconvenience. In the main menu, I didn't know which button to press to select the items, so I used my controller. This game has controller support, by the way, and it's fine. Eventually, I found out that you press the spacebar to select the items and enter to go back. Anyways, the stat menu allows you to change the film to a color or a black and white filter, and a menu to view the guns. Press A on your controller and enter on your keyboard to go back to the main menu. The controls menu tells you which button to press, and you can change it to another preset. Unfortunately, it doesn't let you rebind or remap the keys. You are stuck at whatever the game gives you. Pressing play gives you the difficulty of standard or extreme, and whichever one you click, it will showcase you the plot of the story. So as the plot goes, the main character is called Father the Cannon. He was walking downtown wanting to spend his money on something, then he saw a small toy store and proceeded to walk inside. In the store, there's a music box on a pedestal, and because of curiosity, he decided to open the box and then got sucked into a world made of toys. He gets jump scared by this monkey or whatever, and then the game starts. So here's the boss. This game only has one boss battle, and it doesn't have a name, so I don't know what to call this. In the first phase, you fight the guy who just jump scared you. He does 3 attacks, and it's either a streak of lightning across the floor, the clapping of his cymbals, or music notes that falls down. When you die, there's a death screen saying, I knew you would lose, even if there was hundreds of yous. Probably a reference to the 100 men versus 1 gorilla thing, and it gives you the option to retry the level. Exit to to the main menu or equip another weapon. Speaking of which, there are 4 weapons, being the bullet, firework, bounce bomb, and splitter. The bullet is the first weapon that you get. It's basically just like the pea shooter in Cuphead, shooting in a straight line, and its EX is a bigger bullet. The firework is like the chaser in Cuphead. It homes onto the enemy, but with the EX being a ring moving in a circular pattern. This one has the least amount of damage at 1. The bounce bomb reminds me of the lobber, but it shoots across the screen, and its EX is 6 bigger bombs bouncing across the screen. This has the most amount of damage at 4. Finally, the splitter. It shoots in both the front and back of your head, and the EX is 2 bigger spears. Not sure why you would need this weapon though. In the second phase, you deal with 2 monkeys that either spits out peanuts from their mouth, throw a coconut that splits into 2 pieces, or throw out their head that bounces onto the floor back to them. There's even a banana that walks across the screen to make it even harder. Embarrassingly, I died a lot on this phase because there was so much stuff going on and I couldn't dodge quick enough. Even as the chimpanzees, they can see that I'm the real monkey. But after a couple of tries, I got to phase 3. In phase 3, the monkey from the start reveals himself in a bigger form, and he does 3 attacks once again, stretching his hand out to punch me, shooting barrels into the sky that falls down, or a banana that shoots in 6 directions that you have to dodge very quick before you lose your health. Eventually, I got to beat him, or maybe he beats himself, and I got a bronze ranking. Apparently this guy is nice and I just beat him up for no reason. I take a walk into a portal, get sucked back to reality, somebody screams at me to get away, and I learned a very valuable lesson that day, spelled wrong by the way. And that was it, only one boss. In the credits screen, we learned that RBW stands for Raz Bennett Warner, and this person did all the work on the game, which is impressive. He thanks his family and friends and then us for playing the game. You're welcome. And that's it. I give my compliments to the chef. As for what I like about Toyland Tussle, the animation is pretty good. It looks like it's based on Cuphead, with it having the same style and the old grainy filter. Unlike the other clones, the animation is pretty smooth and polished, and I personally haven't found any bugs yet. The music and sound effects are fine. You can view the OST on the official YouTube channel. I feel like it can be improved, but I'm not a game developer, and I'll cut RBW some slack because it's only one person behind it. Gameplay wise, it's pretty fun and challenging to play, and somewhat difficult, just like Cuphead. I like the attacks that the bosses give you, and it's pretty creative. For things that I don't like, however, it sucks that you can't rebind your keys. Doing that would probably help me defeat the bosses easier by keeping my muscle memory. There's just no option. Speaking of that, there's no settings in the game either. You can't change the resolution or volume level, like in other games. Another pet peeve that I have is that the game doesn't tell me what to press, like spacebar to select or enter to the pause screen. Speaking of which, there's no resume button, so I kept replaying the boss on accident. There's also no tutorial on how to play the game for newcomers. But most people know this game as a Cuphead clone, and most people already know how Cuphead works. Finally, there's only one boss battle in the game, with nothing else to explore, and it can get pretty boring after a while. Besides that, this game has a lot of potential, being a very good fan game or clone to Cuphead. And if the developer ever updates and adds more stuff in the game, I'll definitely replay it in the future. We will watch your career with great interest. As for my rating, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because it's pretty decent, but it only has one boss. It's probably the best Cuphead clone I've ever seen. No game comes close to this. Looking back at the script, I forgot to mention Acecraft. The game is good, the bosses are pretty cool, and it has somewhat of a storyline. But it's only for mobile, and it has some microtransactions. So I'll give it a 6 out of 10. But yeah, Toyland Tussle has a lot of potential, and I hope there are more developments to the game. Go check it out if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.